So what does stress look like in the brain when we actually do what is called a QEEG or a brain map? What we actually start to see is large areas of high activity, usually around mid to high range beta, in our frontal area of our brain, which especially the prefrontal cortex. So all this orange area here is the frontal lobe. It takes up around 40% of the landscape of all this, what we can see, which is called the neocortex. It's the outer area of the brain. And this area here is the frontal lobe. And there's different sections in the frontal lobe, but what we mainly start to see is a lot of high activity around here in our mid to high range beta. And that's indicating that there is a lot of things like psychological stress, things like anxiety, fear, worry, concern. Those kind of things start to activate high levels through that frontal area of the brain. And if we think the frontal lobe is all around executive functioning, forethought, creativity, decision making, rational thinking, goal setting, aspirations, all those kind of things, is a lot of frontal lobe activity. That's why it's called the executive seat of the brain. So what we see is this area being lit up because we're overly thinking, we're overly active in that area. And what this can start to do is cause the brain to go into a bit of compartmentalization, where all these other areas aren't communicating as effectively as possible, because a lot of the activity is through that frontal area. And this stimulates very specific regions of the brain, especially an area in the brain stem called the reticular activating system, which has direct link to other areas of the brain. And what this starts to do is search out for more reasons to make what's going on in the frontal lobe real. So if we are thinking about anxious thoughts and we're getting emotionally involved with that, there's areas in the brain that say, okay, we're going to search out in our environment, outer environment, for more reasons to make that our reality. And this is a doom-fulfilling cycle. It just keeps on going around and round. So there are practices that we suggest, and especially that 4 to restore technique. If you've got questions on that, please just send them through and we'll be happy to share them. Or there's videos on here as well about that 4 to restore technique, which is all around lowering the stimulus of the stress response. That's it for today. Thank you.